My dear friends, sometimes in life we go through seasons where everything feels heavy. The pain seems unbearable, and the challenges look bigger than our strength. In those moments, we often ask ourselves, why me? Why now? But let me remind you of something powerful. The pain you are experiencing today is not here to break you. It is here to build you. Think of a seed buried under the soil. To the seed, the soil feels dark, heavy, and suffocating. But only by being in that pressure does it find the strength to push through the ground and grow into a tree. In the same way, your pain today is the soil in which your future strength is growing. Every champion, every leader, every person who has created an impact in this world, none of them were free from pain. They went through rejection, heartbreak, failure, and loss. But they made one decision: not to run away from pain, but to turn it into power. They chose to allow their wounds to become wisdom, and their struggles to become stories of strength. When you go through difficult times, you are not being punished, you are being prepared. Life is shaping you, molding you, and giving you the depth that comfort could never give. The weight you carry today is building the muscle you will need tomorrow. Maybe right now you are in pain, financial struggles, relationship challenges, loneliness, or self-doubt. It feels like nobody understands what you are going through. But remember, diamonds are made under pressure. Gold is purified through fire. And you too are being refined by the struggles you face. So instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Start asking, what is this preparing me for? Because the day will come when you will look back and realize the tears you shed became the fuel for your strength. The battles you fought became the reason you inspire others, and the pain you carried became the power that lifted you higher. Your pain today will be your power tomorrow. Hold on, don't give up, and trust the process. Life is not against you. It is training you for the greatness that is waiting ahead. So walk forward with faith, courage, and patience. Because tomorrow, the same pain that hurts you today will become the power that sets you free. My friends, when we go through pain, the first thought that often comes into our hearts is that life is unfair. We feel as if we are being punished for something, as if the universe has turned its back on us. We wonder why others are happy and why we are the ones struggling. We compare our lives, our situations, our challenges, and quietly conclude, maybe I am just unlucky. But what if I told you that your pain is not punishment? What if I told you that your pain is preparation for something greater? Think for a moment about a sculptor. When he sees a block of stone, he doesn't see just stone. He sees the statue hidden inside. He takes a hammer and chisel, and he begins to strike the stone. Now, if the stone could feel, it might cry out, "Why are you hurting me? Why are you striking me again and again?" But the sculptor knows exactly what he is doing. Every strike is not destruction, it is creation. Every cut is not harm, it is design. The stone may feel punished, but in truth, it is being prepared to reveal the masterpiece within. Life too is a sculptor. It carves us through painful experiences, through losses, failures, heartbreaks, and setbacks. At the moment, it feels unfair, but when we look back years later, we realize those very experiences shaped us into who we are. Without those cuts, without those chisels, we would still be raw, unformed stone. Pain is not punishment, it is preparation for the person you are destined to become. Think about a student in a classroom. The teacher gives tests and assignments. The student might complain, "Why are you making me struggle? Why so many questions? Why so much pressure?" But the teacher knows that unless the student goes through the test, he will not be ready for the future. The test is not punishment, it is preparation. Similarly, life puts us through tests. And those tests are not to humiliate us, but to elevate us, not to weaken us, but to prepare us. Let me give you another example. Imagine an athlete training for the Olympics. Day after day, she wakes up before sunrise, runs miles when the rest of the world is sleeping, lifts weights that make her body ache, and pushes herself to the point of exhaustion. If you ask her, "Why do you put yourself through so much pain?" She will smile and say, "This is not punishment. This is preparation. This pain is the price I must pay for the glory I am aiming for." And that is exactly how life works. The struggles you are facing today may feel unbearable, but they are the training ground for the greatness waiting ahead. There's a story of a butterfly struggling to emerge from its cocoon. A man saw it struggling, and out of kindness, he cut open the cocoon to help it out. The butterfly came out easily, but its wings were weak and shriveled. It could not fly. What the man did not realize was that the struggle inside the cocoon was necessary. The pressure of pushing against the cocoon forced the fluid into the wings, making them strong enough to fly. By removing the struggle, he removed the butterfly's strength. In the same way, if life removed your struggles, it would also remove your strength. Your pain is not punishment, it is preparation. Many times when something doesn't go our way, we feel rejected. We think life is punishing us. Maybe you didn't get the job you desperately wanted. Maybe a relationship you invested everything into ended. Maybe you faced betrayal from someone you trusted. In those moments, the heart cries out, "Why me?" But what looks like rejection today is often redirection tomorrow. Life is not taking something away from you. It is preparing you for something better, something aligned with your true purpose. Thomas Edison, before he invented the light bulb, failed thousands of times. People mocked him. Some called him foolish. If he had seen those failures as punishment, he would have quit. But Edison saw each failure as preparation, as a stepping stone towards success. And because of that perspective, he gifted the world light. Oprah Winfrey was told she wasn't fit for television. Imagine if she had accepted that pain as punishment and walked away. But she chose to see it as preparation, a chance to grow stronger, to refine her skills, and to believe in her voice. Today, she stands as one of the most influential women in the world. Even in spiritual texts, we find this wisdom. In the Bible, Joseph was betrayed by his own brothers, thrown into a pit, sold as a slave, and imprisoned unfairly. Anyone could look at his life and say, "He must be cursed. He must be punished." But every painful step was preparation for his destiny. Because of those trials, he was elevated to a position of power where he could save not only his family, but an entire nation. And this applies to you as well. The pain you are facing right now may seem unnecessary, cruel, even unbearable. But years later, you will look back and say, "That's why it happened. That rejection, that heartbreak, that closed door, it was preparing me. It was shaping me. It was guiding me to where I was meant to be." We often want comfort, but comfort does not produce growth. A muscle never grows in comfort. It grows under resistance, under strain, under pressure. In the same way, your character, your wisdom, your resilience, they grow only under the weight of struggles. Without pain, we remain small. With pain, we are stretched into greatness. My friends, don't mistake your struggles as punishment. Life is not against you. It is for you. It is preparing you in ways you may not understand right now. Sometimes preparation looks like delay. Sometimes preparation looks like failure. Sometimes preparation looks like loneliness. But behind it all, life is working to make you stronger, wiser, and more capable of handling the blessings that are coming your way. So when you are in pain, hold on. Trust the process. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What is this teaching me? What is this preparing me for?" That simple shift in perspective can change despair into hope and frustration into strength. Pain is not punishment. It is not life being cruel. It is life equipping you for tomorrow. One day when you step into your purpose, when you walk into the doors that were meant for you, when you rise to heights you never imagined, you will look back and realize the pain was not your enemy. It was your teacher. It was your trainer. It was your preparation. So embrace the journey, even with its difficulties. Trust that your story is unfolding exactly as it should. And remember, the chisels of life may hurt, but they are revealing the masterpiece inside you. The soil may feel heavy, but it is where your roots grow strong. The tests may feel overwhelming, but they are shaping your wisdom. One day, you will see clearly that the pain you once hated was the very thing that gave birth to your strength. And in that moment, you will know deep in your heart, pain was never punishment. It was always preparation. My friends, we often look at struggles as obstacles, as unwanted interruptions in the story of our lives. But let us pause for a moment and reflect. What if struggles are not obstacles at all, but opportunities? What if every challenge that feels like it is weighing us down is actually building us up? Every struggle builds strength, and without those struggles, the strength we desire would remain only a dream. Think about the gym. You go there, you lift weights, and the first time you try, the bar feels impossibly heavy. Your arms ache, your muscles burn, and you feel like giving up. But if you keep showing up, if you keep lifting, something remarkable happens. The very resistance that once made you weak begins to make you strong. The struggle with the weights is not against you, it is for you. Without the struggle, there is no growth. And this is exactly how life works. Every struggle you face, whether it's financial, emotional, or personal, is resistance training for your soul. It stretches your capacity, it increases your endurance, and it expands your ability to handle more in the future. Just like lifting weights builds physical muscle, carrying life's burdens builds inner muscle. Every tear, every sleepless night, every rejection adds to your inner strength, even if you don't realize it in the moment. Think of a child learning to walk. He stumbles, he falls, he cries. If the parents rushed every time to hold him up, to never let him fall, the child would never learn balance, never gain the strength to stand on his own. It is through falling and struggling that he learns to rise. The struggle is not a sign of weakness. It is the birthplace of strength. Look at nature. The mighty oak tree does not grow tall in gentle conditions. It faces storms, strong winds, heavy rains. The roots go deeper only because the storms demand it. The trunk grows stronger only because the winds test it. Without the storms, the tree would be weak, fragile, and easily broken. Similarly, without struggles, we would remain shallow, untested, and fragile. Our struggles build the roots of resilience and the trunk of character that allow us to stand tall when life's storms come. Consider the lives of people who inspire us. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison. Imagine the loneliness, the frustration, the pain of those long years. Yet, every day in that struggle, he was being forged into a man of unshakable strength, a leader who could carry the weight of an entire nation's hope. Without the struggle, would he have had the depth of character to lead with forgiveness rather than bitterness? His struggle built his strength, and that strength changed history. Or think about Helen Keller. Deaf and blind from such a young age, her world could have been one of limitation. But her struggles gave her strength beyond imagination. She became a voice for millions, an inspiration for generations. The very obstacles that seemed like curses became the foundation of her power. Every struggle builds strength. And it is not just about famous people. Even in our own lives, the greatest strength we have often comes from the toughest seasons we've endured. Maybe you went through heartbreak and it taught you resilience. Maybe you lost a job and it forced you to discover your hidden talents. Maybe you faced betrayal and it taught you the value of true loyalty. These struggles may have left scars, but those scars are not signs of weakness. They are marks of survival, reminders of the strength you gained. You see, comfort never creates strength. No one grows by sitting in ease, by avoiding challenges, or by running away from discomfort. Strength is built when you face the storm, when you choose not to quit, when you keep moving forward even with trembling steps. It is in the fire that gold is purified. It is in the furnace of struggle that character is formed. In America, there is a saying, no pain, no gain. It's simple, but it's profound. The truth behind it is universal. Without the pain of effort, there is no gain of strength. Without the struggle of growth, there is no victory of transformation. Every challenge you face, every difficult season you endure, is secretly building a stronger version of you. Sometimes we pray for an easy life. We want comfort, security, and peace. But let me tell you this, a smooth sea never made a skilled sailor. It is only when the waves crash, when the winds roar, when the storm rages, that the sailor learns to steer. In the same way, life will send you waves and storms not to sink you, but to make you skillful, wise, and strong enough to sail into greater waters. Remember, the weight you carry today will become the strength you carry tomorrow. Think about the challenges you're facing right now. Maybe it's financial pressure, maybe it's loneliness, maybe it's the fear of uncertainty. They may feel like unbearable burdens, but trust me, they are secretly training you. They are making you stronger in ways that you cannot see yet. And one day, you will look back and realize that season of struggle was where I built my wings. That season of pain was where I discovered my strength. Friends, every struggle builds strength. But here's the key, you must allow it to. Some people go through struggles and grow bitter, while others go through the same struggles and grow better. The difference is in perspective. If you see struggle as punishment, you will resist it. But if you see it as preparation, you will embrace it. And in that embracing, you will grow. So the next time life feels heavy, the next time you feel like you cannot go on, remember this: the struggle is not your enemy. It is your trainer. It is teaching you resilience. It is building your courage. It is carving out your inner strength. And that strength will carry you into a tomorrow you cannot yet imagine. So don't despise the struggle. Don't run from it. Instead, thank it. Because without struggle, you would never discover the strength within you. And when the day comes that you rise, when you overcome, when you achieve, you will look back and realize the truth: every struggle built you. Every struggle prepared you. Every struggle was worth it. My friends, one of the greatest shifts you can ever make in life is the shift in perspective. Two people can go through the exact same pain, yet one comes out stronger and the other comes out weaker. The difference is not in the pain, it is in the perspective. When pain comes into our lives, the natural reaction is to ask, why me? What did I do wrong? Why do I have to suffer like this? And when we ask those questions, we see pain as a punishment, as a curse, as an obstacle standing in our way. But if we shift our perspective, if we ask instead, what is this teaching me? What is this preparing me for? How can I use this for growth? Then suddenly, the same pain that once looked like a curse becomes a blessing in disguise. It is like looking at rain. To one person, rain is an inconvenience. They complain, they get wet, they feel irritated. To another person, the same rain is a gift to the soil, a blessing for the crops, a refreshing touch for the earth. The rain is the same, but the perspective changes everything. Think about a glass of water. Some see it as half empty, others see it as half full. The glass itself has not changed. The water has not changed. The only difference is perspective. In life, pain is that glass of water. You can see it as emptiness, or you can see it as fullness. You can see it as loss, or you can see it as growth. And that choice of perspective will decide whether pain destroys you or strengthens you. Let me tell you a story. There was once a man who lost his job. He had worked in the same company for 20 years, and suddenly, without warning, he was let go. At first, he was broken. He sat at home feeling useless, depressed, and hopeless. He thought life had ended for him. But slowly, instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" he began asking, "What else can I do with my life? What dreams have I left behind?" And in that moment, he shifted his perspective. He started a small business doing something he truly loved, something he had been too afraid to pursue before. Years later, that business became successful beyond his imagination. He often said, "Losing that job was the best thing that ever happened to me. It didn't end my life, it started my life." The pain did not change, the loss of the job was real. But by shifting his perspective, he turned pain into possibility. History is filled with such examples. Abraham Lincoln failed in business, lost elections multiple times, and even went through depression. Anyone else might have seen these struggles as proof that life was against them. But Lincoln shifted his perspective. He saw every failure as a lesson, every setback as preparation. And because of that perspective, he became one of the greatest presidents in American history. Perspective is powerful. It can turn wounds into wisdom, trials into teachers, and obstacles into opportunities. In our own lives, we often resist pain. We say, I don't want to feel this. I want life to be easy. But let us ask ourselves, have we ever truly grown in easy times? Did we ever discover our strength in seasons of comfort? No. It was always in the moments of challenge, in the nights of struggle, in the tears we shed, that we found out who we really are. And that discovery only comes when we shift our perspective and see pain not as an enemy, but as an ally. There's a beautiful story of two prisoners who looked out from behind bars. One saw mud and the other saw stars. Both were in the same prison, both were behind the same bars, but their perspectives created two different realities. Pain works the same way. You can see only the mud of suffering, or you can lift your eyes and see the stars of possibility. In America, many people admire the story of Thomas Edison. When he failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb, someone asked him, "How did you keep going after so many failures?" Edison's reply was a perspective shift. He said, "I didn't fail you. I just found thousands of ways that don't work." Imagine if he had seen every attempt as punishment, as evidence of his lack of worth. We would be living in a darker world today. His perspective transformed his pain into power, and this is available to us as well. Whatever pain you are going through right now, be it loneliness, financial stress, rejection, or uncertainty, you have a choice. You cannot always choose your circumstances, but you can choose your perspective. You can either say, "This pain is crushing me," or you can say, "This pain is shaping me." And whichever one you choose will become your reality. Friends, perspective is not about denying pain. It's not about pretending it doesn't hurt. No, pain is real. It cuts deep, it shakes us, it sometimes leaves scars. But perspective is about what we do with that pain. Do we let it define us, or do we let it refine us? Do we let it imprison us, or do we let it prepare us? Let me share something practical. The next time you face pain, pause and ask three simple questions. First, what is this teaching me? Pain is always a teacher. It teaches patience, empathy, resilience, or humility. If you find the lesson, you find the strength. Second, how can this make me stronger? Every struggle is a workout for your soul. The more you carry today, the stronger you will be tomorrow. And third, how can I use this to help others? Because the most powerful perspective is when you realize your story of pain can become someone else's story of hope. This shift is what turns victims into victors. It's what transforms ordinary lives into extraordinary legacies. Friends, life will never be without pain, but life can always be full of meaning if you choose the right perspective. Pain may visit you, but perspective decides whether it stays as suffering or transforms into strength. So today, whatever you're going through, dare to shift your perspective. Don't just ask, "Why me?" Ask, "What for?" Don't just ask, "Why this pain?" Ask, "What is this preparing me for?" And I promise you, when you make that shift, the same pain that once looked unbearable will start to look purposeful. One day, you will look back and say, "I thought that season was breaking me, but it was building me. I thought that pain was punishment, but it was preparation. I thought that struggle was the end, but it was the beginning." Shift your perspective on pain, and you will discover that life was never against you. It was always guiding you toward your destiny. My friends, every one of us carries wounds. Some wounds are visible, but most are invisible. They come from heartbreaks, betrayals, failures, losses, disappointments, and moments when life seemed too heavy to carry. And when those wounds are fresh, they hurt. They bleed. They make us wonder if we will ever heal. But what if I told you that your wounds are not wasted? What if I told you that the very pain that broke you has the potential to make you wise, compassionate, and powerful beyond measure. Because in life, your wounds can become your wisdom. Let's take a simple example. When a child touches a hot stove, he feels the sharp sting of pain. That wound teaches him not to touch it again. Without the pain, he would keep repeating the same mistake. The wound itself became wisdom. In the same way, every painful experience you've had in life carries a lesson. Every heartbreak has a teaching. Every rejection has insight. Every failure has instruction. If you are willing to look beyond the pain, you will discover the wisdom hidden within it. Wisdom does not come cheaply. It comes at the cost of experiences, often painful ones. That's why the people we admire for their depth, their compassion, their ability to guide others, are usually people who have suffered much. They did not just read books about life, they lived through storms. And the wounds they carried became wells of wisdom from which others could drink. Think of someone like Maya Angelou. Her life was filled with challenges, with wounds of injustice, rejection, and pain. Yet, she turned those wounds into poetry, into words of healing, into wisdom that still inspires the world today. She once said, "You may not control all the events that happen to you, but you can decide not to be reduced by them." That is the essence of wisdom born from wounds. Not allowing pain to reduce you, but allowing it to expand you. Consider the life of Viktor Frankl, who endured the horrors of concentration camps during the Holocaust. He saw unimaginable suffering. He lost his family. He faced hunger, humiliation, and cruelty every single day. Those wounds could have left him broken and bitter, but instead he drew wisdom from them. He discovered that even in suffering, one can choose meaning. He wrote a book, Man's Search for Meaning, that has guided millions through their own struggles. His wounds became his wisdom, and his wisdom became a light for the world. Now, you may not be facing what Frankl faced, but you have your own battles. Maybe it's the betrayal of someone you trusted deeply. That wound hurts, but it can teach you the importance of discernment, the value of loyalty, and the strength of independence. Maybe you failed in your career, lost opportunities, or felt rejected. Those wounds sting, but they can teach you resilience, creativity, and the courage to reinvent yourself. The question is not whether you will have wounds. Life guarantees them. The real question is, will your wounds remain scars of bitterness, or will they become sources of wisdom? In Japan, there is a beautiful art called kintsugi. When a piece of pottery breaks, instead of throwing it away, they repair it with gold. The cracks are not hidden, they are highlighted. The broken object becomes even more beautiful because of the golden lines that run through it. This is how our wounds work. If we allow them, they can become the golden lines of wisdom running through our lives. Our brokenness, when healed, makes us even more beautiful. Wisdom from wounds is not just for yourself. It is for others as well. When you've walked through fire, you can guide others who are burning. When you've been in darkness, you can lead others toward the light. When you've been broken, you can comfort others who feel like they're breaking. Your wounds qualify you to be a healer, a guide, a source of hope. But to reach that point, you must choose not to stay in the wound. You must choose to heal. Healing is not forgetting, it is transforming. Healing means looking at your pain and saying, "You will not define me, you will refine me." It means taking the wisdom out of the wound and leaving the bitterness behind. Friends, think about your own life. What wounds do you carry? Maybe it's from your childhood, harsh words, neglect, or feeling unloved. Those wounds may still ache, but they can also teach you empathy. Because you know what it feels like to be unseen, you can now see others deeply. Maybe your wound is from failure. You tried and it didn't work. That wound can teach you persistence, adaptability, and humility. Even in relationships, wounds become wisdom. A broken heart may teach you that love is not just about emotion, but also about respect, patience, and growth. A betrayal may teach you to trust carefully, but also to value loyalty when you find it. The truth is, the people who inspire us most are not the ones who have never suffered. They are the ones who have suffered and chosen to grow. They are the ones who turn their wounds into wisdom. They don't just speak from theory, they speak from experience. In America, many veterans return from war with deep wounds, physical, emotional, and psychological. And yet, so many of them become mentors, leaders, and voices of strength for others. They use their pain to help fellow soldiers heal, to guide young people, to remind society of the cost of freedom. Their wounds become wisdom, and that wisdom becomes service. So, how do we make this shift? How do we turn wounds into wisdom? The first step is acceptance. Stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and start asking, "What can I learn from this?" The second step is reflection. Take time to look back at your experiences and ask, "What did this teach me about myself, about others, about life?" And the third step is sharing. Don't keep your wisdom locked inside. Share your story. Your scars can be someone else's survival guide. My friends, pain is never wasted when it produces wisdom. Wounds are never meaningless when they become messages. And your struggles are never in vain when they become strength for others. So the next time life wounds you, and it will, remember this: one day, you will look at that scar and smile, because you will see not just the pain, but the wisdom it gave you. You will realize that what once felt like your breaking point became your turning point. Your wounds can become your wisdom. And when they do, you will not only heal yourself, you will help heal the world.